Carrie, what up? Hey, what's happening? What you gardening over there? What's in the garden? What's going on, people? Take a little bit longer. Let a few more people jump on. Came in from picking strawberries. Okay. Are these regular strawberries, or you got a different strain out there? Because I know you be growing exotic, all type of exotic fruits and vegetables out there. What's goody, bro? What's happening with you? How VA treating you? She said I got 6 species. Oh, she's wild. Yeah, I need parts. I get to the West Coast. I need to see what that be like. Yeah, I want to jump on and talk disc a little bit. Talk a little bit about disc. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I ain't been on here in a little second. Ain't had no conversation about it, so we're gonna get into it. What's goody, my guy? What's goody? What's goody? Let's converse. Said like a true C. I got you. Kayla, what's good, homie? Yo, that's crazy, bro. Yeah, send my love, bro. Kobe probably don't even remember me. Yeah. Oh, here comes the gang. Yeah, let's talk spicy. A lot of spicy talk. Listen, I just want to say I'm on helmets from here on out, and it's all Dave's fault. It's all Dave's fault. It's all Dave's fault. Yeah. So listen. So many of you may know, may not be aware, but there's this thing called the DISC assessment, right? And it's one of 3 assessments that I use. Well, what did I just do? Okay. That I use when working with my clients, right? You know, it could be, working on personal stuff like building relationships, or it could be business related, right? But, the idea is I want to help you get to a place where you're getting more done with less effort in a more natural and authentic way. We also want to understand the things that motivate and drive us, and also those things that just come naturally to us and the things that we naturally struggle with. So, for me, I like to conceptualize things in a way that make it very easy to relate to other people. So,
I don't know that.
Alexa, I'm not talking to you. Alexa, wow, nosy, yo. It's crazy. Yeah, Jax, I already told you. It's helmets time. CC, what's good? Yeah, so for me, I love, growing up in New York City, there's a lot of architecture, there's a lot of beauty here in the city. And I don't really watch TV, but I love HGTV. I love real estate. Yeah, she always in my business. I love real estate. And so, one of the things that goes into that is just building. And a lot of the times I'm working with clients, we're talking about building a dream or building a life that they want for themselves, right? So there's where they are here, but they're trying to get somewhere. And the beauty of the assessment, this values and attributes is that once you take the assessment, we can look at and see exactly who you are and then the people that you need to put around you in order to build the life that you want, in order to be successful. This is a team game. Like, this is not something that you can do by yourself. We've all been blessed with natural gifts, and with every gift we've been blessed with, we've also been blessed with a blind spot. So one of the things that, back to architecture and real estate, but one of the things that always stood out to me, there was a quote, and it's a cliche at this point, but it's form follows function, right? So that's a real sophisticated way of saying the way something is put together should be based on what its purpose is, right? So if you want to be married, 9 times out of 10, you should probably put yourself around people who are married and have successful marriages. If you're trying to build a business, you might want to surround yourself around, people that are business owners. And if you're building your own business, then in order for that business to scale and to work for you, you're going to have to put key people in place. So, the D, the I, the S, the C, people put their own spins on it. But for me, I like to relate real estate to it. So you have builders and you have finishers, right? So if we're building a house, if we use the analogy of building a house, you have the people who are going to go in and who are going to break ground and who are going to, put the blueprint together. The people who are going to, get the power lines and the plumbing in place, get the foundation, put whatever the isolation is. I grew up in the project, so I don't know nothing about all these little house terms and all that, but I do like watching HGTV. But yeah, all the insulation and the open concepts and all of that, the builders are going to come in and pioneer and initiate and get all of this in place, right? So there's a place for those people, the people who are self-starters, the people who are going to jump in there, who's going to get it going and get the momentum going. But the builders don't necessarily see things all the way through, and that's why we need this other group of people called finishers, right? The finishers are going to come in and refine everything and then make sure that things are pristine, that things are in place, that things are livable, right? So they're going to make sure that the feng shui is in place. So the first thing I want you to know is which group do you fit in? Are you a builder or are you a finisher, right? If you're a builder, then you need to surround yourself with a finisher. And if you're a finisher, then you need to get around some builders, right? Because they're going to complement you. It's a blind spot. The thing that I like to focus on is doubling down on the thing that you're naturally good at, because you're going to do it and get more done with less effort, right? And if we get into values, then we understand why people do what they do, like what drives them. But if you're a builder, there's 2 types, and we're going to stay with the real estate analogy, but we have architects, right? And we have agents. Architects are people who, they cast a vision. They create the blueprint. They cast a vision for what it should look like, and then they help manage and drive the implementation and execution of it, right? So, again, I grew up in the projects, but I see it on these shows. Somebody has building plans and they got the little joint and they rolling it out. Yeah, this is supposed to be, 34 by 65 feet, and we need this, and this is what it's supposed to look like. They're going back to this vision and this plan. They're ensuring that, that the team, the construction team, gets and creates the type of property in the home that these people are going to be moving and living in, right? Then you have the agent, that so the builder, the architect is building the vision of the physical thing. The agent, they're selling the property. They're building a pipeline of people. The agent is selling the property. So they're casting a vision. They're taking that vision and selling it to the potential homeowner, right? These are the people who are lively, vivacious. They're social, right? They're the type of people that can pretty much sell its own to the phone, but they have influence. That's their power. And so, these are the people that you need to go and close the deal, to let people know. Um, I remember watching one of these real estate shows, and they said we're not selling you a property, we're selling you space, right? And it's the agent's job to treat that space like a blank canvas and to have the people who are moving in kind of reimagine what that space would look like and how it supports the function and the way that they live. So you need an agent for that. Jamie, what's going on? You need an agent for that, right? So the architect and the agent, those are the people who are going to build, who are going to get it going, get it started. But you need the finishers, right? And so the finishers are the the project manager and the inspector. So you think about, once you start building, you need somebody that's going to make sure that you get the supplies at the right price, people who are bringing the right people in, so you can build and build this house, right? Build this thing at or below budget, right? Because you want to build in profit margin, right? So when you're building your dream, you need that project manager, the person that's going to make sure everything is supported, everything that needs to be there is there. These are the glue people, right? They're gonna make sure everything runs smoothly in the background. They don't want to be seen, but they have their pulse. They got their finger on the pulse of everything that's happening. You need that. So once you got the architect who put the blueprint together, they put the vision together. Sis, what up? You got the architect that put the vision together. They casted the vision. They're driving the implementation. They're guiding from above, right? Up here. You got the agent that's selling to people, right? They're bringing the people in. They're doing open houses. They got designers making it look good. They're selling the dream of what could be, the experience of living there. Then you have the project manager, the person who is the glue that makes everything stick, that makes sure everything is happening on budget, under budget, right? And then once everything is built, you bring in who? The inspector. The inspector is the person that's going to make sure that it's up to code, right? If you're familiar with real estate, you have to get government permits to make sure this is real estate and it's the right real estate. Is it residential? Is it commercial? Right? And when you need a person to come in and to inspect, make sure the pipes work, the insulation is good, or this is built a particular type of way for this area and it's in adherence to the government code. So you need that. You need the inspector to come in and make sure that it's livable for you to actually be safe living there. And so the same way you need all of these pieces when you're building your dream, when you're building the life that you want for yourself, you need all of these pieces, all of these people around you. You cannot do it by yourself. So it's important for you to figure out, one, who you are, which one of those people you are, and then go out and recruit, right? Recruit the other people to come around you so that you have all four people that you need to build the house that's going to hold your vision, right? That's going to hold your legacy. That's what you need to do. And that's the first step. And then once we get the people around us, then we could start looking at, okay, how do we maximize the output or the productivity of people? How do we get the most out of the people who are on our team? And that's where values, right? That's the values that I was talking about. You want to get the motivators, you want to understand what drives people, what motivates them to do what they do to get them out the bed in the morning, right? Yes, sis, you're a project manager, right? So we gotta, it's teamwork, man. It's teamwork. Like even looking at something like The Last Dance, and man, I just growing up, you look at how it's almost like we was pre-programmed to just say Mike was the greatest, but it's like every time I watch this, it takes me back to realizing, like, I was a kid watching that, but now as a grown man, I'm realizing the storylines and all of the little intricacies behind the scenes that went into it. And I'm not surprised that Mike didn't win until he got pieces around him, till he got Scottie, right? Till he got Phil, right? Phil was the architect, right? Phil was the architect of that. He was the architect of the triangle, right? He and you know, Mike is a person who, you know, he was the star, right? He was the guy, but you needed Scottie, who was gonna facilitate, who's probably that little project manager. He the nice, make everything smooth. Excuse me. And then you needed the loud, you needed Dennis Rodman, or you needed Horace Grant, somebody that was gonna come in and do the dirty work, clean up the glass. Dennis Rodman was a little loud, but you needed everybody to put it in there. You needed a shooter, you needed a John Paxton, you needed a Steve Kerr, right? Like everything worked together for the greater good of the team. So the guiding principle, remember, is form follows function, right? And again, simply put, in layman's terms, that means the way something is formed or the way something is created should be based on what its intended purpose is. So if your dream is to build a life where you have, complete autonomy, you have control of your time, um, then you're gonna need to buy that back. You're gonna need financial freedom first, right? So who are the people you need to put around you to be able to give you financial freedom or give you that type of leverage? You need to be able to duplicate yourself, right? So you might need somebody who's an inspector, a person who's gonna make sure everything is good, give you some structure if that's not what you are. You might need an agent, right? Yeah, you might need an agent, somebody who is gonna is magnetic, somebody who's gonna pull the people in. You need a project manager, a person that's gonna be the glue that makes sure everything is done in the background, everything is there, right? I see you, Sean. So he's an inspector. Cool. You need a you need an architect. The architect is the person who masterminds it. They're not necessarily in the ground in the nitty gritty with it. Bro, what's good, Amir? Yeah, they're not the person that's in the nitty gritty with it, but they're in the clouds. They're overseeing. They're making sure that everything is where it needs to be, and they're making sure everything is guided in the right place, right? It's almost like that. Um, Yo, Nikki in the city, what's the joint called? The news, the CBS, the eye in the sky, right? So the eye in the sky, they used to have the choppers, the news choppers in the air following around, news stories so they could get it from up top. And they were kind of reporting about what it looked like from that view. So they were adding a level of guidance, right? So figure out who you are. Once you figure out who you are, understand what your strength is, learn how to hone and master that, and then understand that there's some other people that you might need to bring around you to support the vision and bring it to fruition. And you start to understand, okay, this I need to recruit me this person, and then you build a team. You got a team around you, and now you can build your house. You could build your, you know what I'm saying? You could build your mansion. You could build your estate. You could build your museum, right? A museum. You build a museum that you can put your art in, the things that you create. And then you can invite people into that space for them to look and watch and admire the things that you've created along your career, right? And you create a legacy. And we see there's things that have been sitting in museums for centuries, right? So yeah, I just wanted to, jump on and share some perspective. Like I said, I love, the work that we do around, this behavioral psychology, disc and stuff like that, because it really transforms and changes lives. It changed mine. I work with people, it changes theirs. But, when we're able to marry that and make it real to things that we love, make it personal. Like I said, I love real estate. I love HGTV. So for me, it was cool to just kind of problem solve and conceptualize it in a way that made sense for me, in a way that I'm able to communicate it to you. So, yeah. Yeah, eye in the sky, Nikki. Cool. Yeah, teamwork make a dream work. You know what I mean? Make that shit nigga wisdom. Yeah, Jax out. You know what I mean? Where Dave at? Cause Dave was out here talking spicy. I told y'all to stop. I told y'all to talk to me normal. Y'all out here talking to me disrespectfully. This is what happens. This is what happens when y'all talk to me crazy. Nikki, what's good, sis? We got a question. You feel me, Sean? Told him, leave me. You know what I'm saying? I told him, like, we got any questions in here? Sean, I try to tell him, Sean, you know what I mean? I try to mind my business. Questions. Y'all did this. The crazy thing is, you know what I mean? Dave started all this and he got up out of here. Yeah, so are you a builder? So based on what I was saying, are you a builder or are you a finisher? Right? Are you pioneering? Do you get things started? Are you an initiator? Or do you refine things? Do you make them better? Do you make them, you know what I mean, more pristine? And then, you know, and these are for, you know, if you haven't taken the assessment or whatever, you know, you should take it. No plug, nothing like that, but you should do yourself a favor and help me help you or help somebody else help you, because this work is life-changing. But, you know, be a builder, or, you know, if you're a builder or a finisher, and then from there figure out which one you are, right? Are you an architect? Are you an agent? Are you a project manager, or are you an inspector, right? Which role do you play in building the vision, building the house, building the museum? You can get the assessment by sliding in my DMs respectfully. Again, talk to me normal. Hit me up. Shoot me a DM, and we'll work that out. Yeah, Jax, I got you. Follow the instructions. A mature agent. So, you know, you have, you know, if we're talking about, you know, a person who's mature, immature, and using, you know, that's a good point. So let's talk about it. You know, everybody has a superpower, right? And so you can overuse, underuse that. But understanding how to hone and craft that is very important. Growing up, you know, Saturday morning cartoons, I used to watch X-Men, and you had, even though he was a little bit of a chump to me, but Cyclops, right? Cyclops had the optic blast, right? And my man opened his eyes, he's going to clear the whole area out. Like, he's airing everything out. But it wasn't until he got to Professor X and they gave him the little ruby red glasses that he was able to hone. He was able to control, you know, he was able to open his eyes and see without tearing everything up around him. And then it wasn't until Professor Xavier gave him the little visor joint that he was able to adjust and control the optic blast and have it be precise. I want to hit this. I don't want to hit everything, right? I don't want to smash everything. You know, it's also like in the Avengers, I think it was Age of Ultron, Hulk got hypnotized by Scarlet Witch and he ends up fighting Tony and destroying the whole city, right? So usually where they bring in the Hulk to just go in and break and smash a bad guy, that strength was used in a destructive way, and he ended up destroying the city, right? He ended up hurting a bunch of people. And so you never want to do that. So with an agent, you know, this person has the ability to make everybody feel, you know, appreciated and make them feel special, you know, make everybody feel like they're the only person in the room. They have a very inspiring, influential kind of aura to them. Like, people just want to be around them. They give good vibes and good energy. So in this analogy, you know, the agent will really be great at selling what life could look like for a person looking to purchase this home, or what that dream could look like. The agent could go in and really make a person rethink the way that they live their life, or what their life could look like. They sell possibility, what something could be. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You ain't selling nobody a dream if you're doing it maturely. But if you're immature, right, then you know that could come across like you trying to take up all of the space in the room. You want to be the center of attention. You know you hogging the limelight. You kind of an attention whore, and you're not using that gift of energy and influence to kind of bless other people. You're taking it and you're abusing it, right? So it's the difference between influencing. So I would say maturity and immaturity as it relates to the agent or the high I is a person who's able to influence and a person who's able to manipulate. I was reading Extreme Ownership, and Jacko was in a book talking about how leaders are able to influence or manipulate. Influence is a good thing when it relates to leadership, because what that shows is I'm trying to get you to do something that's going to benefit you or benefit the team and benefit the mission. If I'm manipulating you to do something that's going to benefit me. And I think that's the difference in the maturity of the agent or the high I. So, good question. Yeah, the project manager is definitely the S tendency. So, just to go through the architect is the high D personality, the agent is the high I personality, the project manager is the S personality, and the inspector is the C personality. You got to use the influence for good. Yeah. Use your superpowers properly. So again, yeah, if you're interested in the assessment, shoot me a DM. I'll get you a link. We'll work that out. My guy, I haven't. Yo, Ron, what's good, Brody? What's goody? It's my man 50 Gritted in. Yeah, so what does your team look like? Who's around you? Who's at the table with you? That's really the conversation. And then once we get to the table, we can figure out what motivates people or why people are here. And that's values. Right? We get into the values assessment. It's gonna show us what people's motivators are. Because you could be a architect or whatever, but what drives you to do what you do will vary person to person. And I think that's the thing that makes people unique. Everybody has a unique blend, a unique mix based on naturally just who they are and people's lived experiences. And the more that I do this work, I realize, that we often put expectations on ourselves and other people that's just not realistic, right? Like I've learned that there's 3 types of people. There's a person who doesn't know, a person who's ignorant, they're not aware, right? So they just need to be informed. Then there's a person who knows but chooses not to. So this person is aware, but that's just not something that they want to do. They choose to do something different. And then there's the person who is just not capable. They're not built that way. There's no way for them to do that. You're asking them to do something that's just not in their makeup, right? So it's like if I took a gallon of water and I poured it into a glass. If I poured it into the glass, what do you think gonna happen? Eventually, the water's gonna overflow because the glass can't hold a gallon of water. But if I took that gallon of water and I poured it into a tub, the tub is going to be able to hold the water because it has the capacity to hold a gallon of water, right? So, it's just a point. It's a point, to keep top of mind about understanding who we are, so that we're able to place the right expectations on ourselves, but also in how we deal with other people, right? And that level of understanding of self and understanding of other people creates compassion. And when we have compassion, like, it just makes relationships much better because you don't have expectations. You see a person, you know who they are, you know what to expect, you know what not to expect, or you know what to ask of them, what they're capable of, or just how to support them and how they can support you. And you don't take things as a personal attack. right? You just understand like, oh, this is how this person functions. So, when it's important to be self-aware. It's important to be authentic. It's a person to be open, to be understanding, to have compassion. Everything works smooth. And especially when you got the right clique around you, it's game time. We seen, like I said with The Last Dance, we seen Jordan. Like, they said Jordan was God disguised as Michael Jordan. I don't think you get a greater compliment than that from a legend, right? But he wasn't winning. And he wasn't winning because he didn't have the right pieces around him, right? When he first got into the league, Jordan had, he played on the wing with Iceman, with George Gervin. Those are two of the same players. You can't have this, ball dominant guards on the wings who play the game similarly. Nah, but when the other guy became Scottie, who was a facilitator, who was able to do all of the other things, and Mike could focus on doing the thing that he did best, which was scoring, taking over games, they got it done. And then they had a person in either Horace Grant or Dennis Rodman that was able to rebound and do the dirty work. You feel me? Like, everything just went to another level. All right, Kerry, listen, I need some of them strawberries. All right, so, you know what I mean? You keep growing, you keep doing what you're doing. I need parts, though. You're going to have to sample that garden you got over there. Jamie, you feel me? Yeah, we out here trying to change lives, B. You know what I mean? Any more questions we got? What's up? Have everybody, if you haven't taken the assessment, take it. But if you have any questions, let me know. We'll get out of here in a second. Let's see if anybody got more questions. Vaughn, what's up? Vaughn. Yeah, you pulled up, man. You had to catch this replay. I'm trying to see if anybody got questions. All right, man, listen. Peace and blessings to y'all. Love y'all. Y'all be safe out there. This Rona is out there. She playing for keeps, but it's not going to stop us from doing what we got to do. So y'all be good. Peace.